Jin Woo, more like Sung Jin Woo. Young Bin, one spin block, run into up, sing 'em one, then two, one, them two. That's what I Sung Jin Woo. They all wanna play till they become the toys. What's going on, DSG? It's your boy Darrnell Bradley back at y'all another video, and today it's time for a death battle. We got Simon the Digger versus Kyle Rayner, Gurren Lagann versus White Lantern death battle. Now, I'm not crazy versed in either of these characters, slightly. You know, I would say I know more about White Lantern just because I'm more of a DC fan. I've heard more about this character, seen more about this character, but haven't gone in depth as far as learning about the character. So, just off that, we gonna peep our original bet. You know how we do. We riding for White Lantern because we know just a bit more about him. We're more of a DC fan. We know absolutely nothing about Simon. Now we reserve our right to change our bet once we get, you know, the information about each character. But right now, we got White Lantern, man. We gonna see what's up. So be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, follow me and all that there social media. We knew that ain't further ado. In 3, 2, 1, click. Let me know who you voted for in the comments. Let me know who you voted for or who you wanted to win at the beginning of the death battle before you knew who would win.
Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern.
Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity.
Homie's a Gundam? You got a Gundam? Okay.
And it's our job to analyze.
Yeah, y'all gonna have this because from what I know about Kyle Rayner, like with the White White Lantern ring thing, like the shit that he's supposed to be able to do. So right now, I'm gonna need them to talk up Gurren. You feel me? But let's go.
Their weapons, armor, and
Or
skills
Simon.
to find out who would win a death battle. Deep underground, Jiha Village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave.
That's where the hero of our story comes in.
Okay.
The young man who would lead his
All right, I see what you're saying about the young man stuff, but who's this? You know what I'm saying? I feel like she needs some saving. You know what I'm saying? But all right, let's go.
comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty. Oh, and his little brother from another mother, Simon. He was there too, I guess.
Simon was a digger, content to drill endlessly through the dirt, until the day he found the core drill.
A key that activated the mysterious buried mech that Kamina named Lagann. Under his magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the Earth for humanity, scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as befits Kamina and Simon's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagann merged, creating Gurren Lagann.
With Kamina piloting the body and Simon the head, these two were unstoppable.
Of all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagann might just be the absolute coolest, fueled by its pilots.
Yo, that's a crazy statement, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot. And I ain't saying crazy like I've seen better, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, like, the giant mech suit thing for me stopped at the, like, original Gundam when I was a kid watching that, you know what I'm saying? With Hiro, the guy that didn't bleed and shit like that. Like, that was my mech suit shit. That's what I watched when I was, and big, oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that was it for me, though. But all right, let's go.
Willpower and capable of making any weapon they can imagine,
including missiles, a jetpack, a sunglasses boomerang, and of course,
drills, wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite, the Giga Drill Bureku. Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something, my whole personality.
With Gurren Lagann's awesome power, Kamina laid waste to enemy forces, liberated human villages, and fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen King, Lord Genome.
Until Kamina died. Oh, wait, shit, was that supposed to happen?
Nope, and it was all Simon's fault. He let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price. After all, he was just a humble digger, at home in the darkness, guided solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
So his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simon who believes in you. Damn.
Kamina was the one looking up to him the whole time. It was Simon who found Lagann, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity to victory.
Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral attacked.
Unimaginably powerful godlike aliens, the anti-spiral feared
Anti-spiral attacked.
The anti-spiral? Really? Listen, whether this anime is good or not, for me personally, is yet to be seen. But their naming process is crap. I'm sorry, bro. Like, what is going on here? The crazy looking moon thing is cool. You know what I'm saying? This thing can fight. The one from the Reaper anime. I can't remember. You know what I'm saying? But what the fuck are we doing with the names? But okay.
Unimaginably powerful godlike aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah.
Just as the spiral turned inward represents
it runs on that spunk, you know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of that oomph. It runs on that elbow grease.
Obsession and madness. The spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity, the perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential Simone would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the end.
So that's what I was saying.
Representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential Simone.
You gotta respect the dedication to art style. You know what I mean? You gotta look at it and really see how the artist took their time to outline specific curves and features to make sure that the animation was engaging. You know what I mean? That's the point. Are you engaged? Do you enjoy what you're looking at? Does it appeal to your eyes? That's all I'm saying, and I feel like they did a good job.
Would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren Lagann gets crazy.
Okay.
Channeling spiral power lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simone can create portals to different realities and higher dimensions. He can.
So now we're getting into the White Lantern feats. All right, because everything I was listening to just now, I was like, okay, I mean, this is cool, but, you know, we still come with Gundam stuff. You know what I mean? You ain't come with White Lantern with none of this now. Now we getting there. Okay, spin yourself, parent, Korean city size. All right, okay.
Generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions.
Fast enough to hit all time, space, and dimensions. So, end existence laser is what we on. That's what that is. In all time, we gonna call that the magical eraser missiles. This is a magical eraser. Just get rid of everything. Okay.
Are fast enough to hit, and I quote,
fast enough.
All time, space, and dimensions. All within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light. Oh, okay. Well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history. Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap, the multiverse labyrinth, an attack that imprisons Simone in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simone and his spiral power are just built different, and after being inspired by his bro, Simone absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this
and the drama back to space. Translation error. More like refers to. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know what the fuck that means.
Absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself. The jump between dimensions is basically infinite. Each new dimension adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap in size and scope.
Where the fuck did we got spiral again? It's just okay.
What?
Oh, we're just getting started. Imagine a 2-dimensional drawing interacting with a 3-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far off from what actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding another to the mix.
What the Final Fantasy fuck is that? So he absorbed a version of himself that was an author writing a version of himself that was powerful, so he absorbed the version that the author was writing as well. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. Wait a minute.
Power made his fictional Simon's version of Gurren Lagann, including an alternate universe Simon who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann.
Was writing a version, alternate Simon.
And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding another
Oh, so his power made his things real, so it gave him an
to the mix.
Okay.
Wait, if every human being has spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough.
See, here's the thing.
As spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave.
Like even when you put drills on the bottom of them, you gotta respect the artwork for what you can see. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. But
Give our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This is
so being able to hit everything all at once with missiles wasn't a fucking enough. Okay.
when Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy. Like shooting missiles that alter probability so they have 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like.
Gurren Lagann makes multiple references to brain theory and higher dimensional concepts that are consistent with other statements asserting these galaxies are in fact universes. Okay.
Probability so they have 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like frisbees. Sorry, did I say galaxies? I meant universes.
Simon's power was so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
With it, Simon turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the best wife in the universe, used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I have spiral power, Wiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back?
When
Oh
even
God,
this was not enough
that's the kind of questions I'd have if I was Mans though.
for the anti-spiral, Simon evolved one more time.
Into Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann!
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simon and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all.
Hey, cruel indifference of the universe! Meet the indomitable human spirit!
Proving Kamina's words prophetic, that Simon's drill is the drill that would pierce the heavens.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simon chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up. For all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
All thanks to a humble digger.
Okay. Yo, that anime actually seems pretty cool. From where it starts to where it ends is an insane leap. I ain't gonna hold y'all. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna see what they got from my homie Kyle. Cause like I said, I don't know everything about Kyle either. I just know he go crazy.
The universe is a dangerous place. Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire, alien dictators, or this one really pissed off cat, you know who to call.
The Green Lantern Corps. They're the Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green
I don't know why, but yep, that is exactly what that is.
Lantern among them was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him. You love him. You might hate him, but you gotta respect the man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until the day his will broke.
After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery.
Damn, see, I ain't know none of that storyline shit.
Through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery, the literal Green Lantern.
Becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
There was only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet. And with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human.
Damn, what timeline was this, bruh? You know what I'm saying? I know, well, I thought Parallax was like the one. Well, I might be going from the Ryan Reynolds version that they made, where Parallax was one of the green people, one of the blue people. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. All right, let's go.
Of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
So, was Kyle picked for his indomitable willpower like Hal was?
He was just there. He had no idea what was going on. Must feel good being given the most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own.
Superman, Asian movies, DC tutorials, draws, love triangles. This nigga, okay.
Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Wheat, and a sentient box can master it, what's your excuse, Kyle?
The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
Think we're exaggerating? Well, consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable.
So are you saying that the Green Lantern is as fast as the Flash? Is that what you... Because I ain't never seen, heard nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? And Flash and Superman go crazy with the races. Flash wins. But there's never been, I've never heard talk of another one that could keep up with Flash. Is that Green Lantern? Okay.
Space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger.
Like the time that Boozer Kilowog survived being erased from existence by the crisis on Infinite Earth.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched, probably because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show, they think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's most recognizable ability is their constructs. Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang. Wait, 0.3? DC's multiverse has 12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside is that it's limited to 24 hours before needing a recharge.
So it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never mind, that's the...
After relinquishing the power of Ion, why does Green Lantern to have an emergency reserve of backup power? Never fully run out. Okay.
The stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Ooh,
Kyle
damn.
wasn't the only one traumatized.
Yeah, that'll fuck you up just a little bit, wouldn't it? You just got all these crazy great powers and you doing all this other stuff. All of a sudden, your girlfriend in the fridge. I would have part of me wouldn't want the ring no more, because it's like, okay, it seems like now that my life caught a crazy upside, it's about to start catching crazy downsides, and I don't know what's going on. I ain't gonna throw the ring back at you right now, because I think I might have to go handle this crazy downside real quick, but I don't know if I want this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but you are the light and you have to protect it. My bitch is in the fridge. My bitch. Not yours. Mine. Is in the fridge. No. We're not doing that. You know what I'm just not. I don't need shit like that to become a regular part of my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not really about that. My bitch was in the fridge. I'm just saying.
This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle finally got serious.
That's crazy.
He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
There are 7 colors, each representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear lets Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies' attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm, which sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space, connecting him to others.
So it's like, what's the speed feat for? You don't even, like, when you can do crazy speed feats and then you sit there with teleportation, it's like, so you just do the speed thing because you like to, instead of just teleport, you want to move so fast that you rip through shit. Got you.
Final one was the Sapphire Light of Love. With it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with
Sorry, the fact that you got Johnny proper right, that's too good.
their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern.
Some dungeon entrances and top heroes are super sneaky. At Sentry Tower, most players just grab the chest and leave.
With total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other Lantern in existence.
Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every power battery across the multiverse.
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
Okay, so it's not totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited the Source and acquired.
Wait, Kyle had on against Parallax as a Green Lantern. Okay. Monitor while possessing Hal. Oh, possess. Okay. So yeah, he said he was running, well, he was a Green Lantern, got the white ring and was like, okay, we going crazier. All right.
The life equation. Essentially the source for Kyle.
Oh, because we always hear about the anti-life equation.
Visited the source and acquired the life equation. Essentially the source code to reality, the life equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The life equation, like its counterpart, the anti-life equation, is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality. originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's great.
What the fuck? So he got the life equation. The thing that was the opposite of the anti-life equation, which we thought was bad. But he got the fucking life equation and became fucking Sentry? Okay, alright, cool. Cool. Like I said, I didn't really know what Mans was working with his lore and his, you know what I'm saying? I just knew that he got all the rings powers and he could do crazy doing extra reality shit. And now you're telling me he got a whole ass Void character. Damn. All right.
Manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns. And together, they shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
Alright, we gonna hold it down for Kyle. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know that Simon was doing a lot, or Simone, the digger, was doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't really pay attention to a lot of the numbers because they couldn't even calculate the shit. A lot of this stuff in here was inconceptual, to be honest with you. But we gonna hold it down for Kyle's inconceptuals. You feel me? Let's go.
Hey, remember Beerus vs. Sailor Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime. But we've got a solution. It's our own website. That's www.deathbattle.gg.
Oh, shit.
It's like our own private Patreon, with a store for Death Battle merch and a complete Death Battle video archive. It's got episodes that YouTube has banned, blocked, and censored, and there's even more goodies on the way. So check out deathbattle.gg live right now.
Okay.
All right, the combatants
Wonder
are
if I
set,
react
and
to
we've
those,
run the
they'll be
data through
taken
all
down.
possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Let's go. Kyle Rayner, let's go, baby.
All right, I'm not rusty.
Big old Gundam head ass, boy.
Hey dude,
Get outta here.
Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
And that immediately means hands.
I'm told I'm bad with authority.
Tell me about it. 4.
I'm look at that man. His constructs ain't even green. Okay, man, let's go.
4? That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens!
My glasses are bigger now. White Lantern power.
That's really cool.
So these niggas are fighting on a lateral plane of a universe right now. That's how you do it. Don't please don't step on my existence.
That's really cool. I'm a lantern.
We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
If you ain't know,
You about to find out.
Now you know.
If you ain't know, yo. I like it. Go crazy.
If you ain't know,
Now you know! I'm Simone the Digger! If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down!
The source wall. Boy, that's the thing, man. You done broke a source wall. You didn't even know what you was doing for real. You don't even know where you at. You feel me? Like how you gonna start drilling through shit? You don't even know what's on the other side for real. Like that's your bad. You know what I'm saying? That can't nobody help you. Now you throwing drills and ain't nobody tell you to be running around huge ass drills. Why is that the theme of your anime? I have no idea why, but you done fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Or not? We gonna see what happened. But I'm just saying. Because now you about to get his. Oh no, is he gonna get his void character? I don't know.
Stop fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future.
For me.
Choose life.
have faith in the Simone that believes in you.
He's like, my homie, I got spunk, fam.
Super taking tilt the Gurren Lagann! My drill is the drill that will transcend the heavens! Giga Drill Free!
The super de-duper drill. That man said, that's fine, bro. Let's go. Get drilled for real. We can go drill for drill, man. Drills can drill drills, bro. What do you mean, dog? I'm drilling your drill, man. You want to try to drill me? I got a drill for your drill, man. We can get you can the drills is going crazy. I think it's funny that he decided to run that part. He was like, we can run it then, bruh. Infinity drill?
The super.
How you go so crazy in your fight that reality was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done. Y'all is doing way too much time, space, warp it. Like, y'all can't even hit each other without destroying 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, however many different existences, parallel realities, dimensions. Like, y'all just, the reality said, I'm done with y'all. Y'all sit right here. Stop it. Y'all tearing me up. I can't, y'all, I don't even understand how y'all operate. If I could just not exist, y'all, I would, but y'all are the ones who keep not existing shit. Y'all just need to stop. Y'all just need to stop.
The super weapon wasn't your mech. It was me.
Then, Simone, I'm taking you in brightest day, in blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern fly!
Oh, yeah! Ah, he got him. Okay. Okay. Yo, that was epic though.
Good lantern.
Simone of Earth, you have been chosen.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
Alright. Yo, hey, alright, so we lost that one, but that was a good one. That was a good fight. I loved how they made that end. The clashing, how Kyle started doing the drill stuff. The ring to the drill at the end, like that was a very good ending.
For the guy with the snazzy sunglasses!
When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by our normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind of become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. Their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
First up, imagination. The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable
imagination. A draw? A draw? I personally would give imagination to Kyle. Like, it's literally, like, imagination is literally man's profession. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like, he had essentially practice in a sense of wielding his imagination before Simone ever did. You know what I'm saying? I personally would give the imagination to Kyle.
Is a draw.
That leaves the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiversal scale with their willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level. However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
More than enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability to easily kill Simone.
Okay, all right, well, I see what you're saying. He's never done that before, but I feel like when it comes to things like DC and Marvel, hell, even the anime stuff, it always comes down to some shit they've never done before. You know what I'm saying? And them having done it. Like, I feel like when it comes to, like, imagination and being able to, Kyle's never destroyed something so completely. The abilities that these motherfuckers have, you really think that's beyond the scope of possibility? Just to erase some shit completely? Like, I'm sorry. The fact that it was just said that he's never done it, and then you gave me this whole crazy spectrum of powers that he has, like he can't. Okay, but all right, let's go.
Never destroyed something that thoroughly, but his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly.
We can wish. Okay, so I see what they're saying. Just there's no precedent for it, but I feel like in the scope of things he can do, that it can be done.
Without the ability to easily kill Simone, it was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge. Especially since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate emotions to reduce Simone's willpower, Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it. It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset, forcing him to relinquish it to keep from destroying reality and himself.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone...
See, I wouldn't be able to know that. I wouldn't know, because I don't know about the Digger anime and things like that, and I'm not like versed like that in the life equation, so I gotta take them at their word for this stuff.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway? That's Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater.
Potential to willpower. I think just because you have more potential than somebody doesn't mean you have more willpower. I guess realized potential, I guess, could equal to the willpower. And since Kyle didn't have the willpower to control the life equation, Simone did have the willpower to control whatever they're equivalenting that to the life equation. So in either way, it would be, for me, in that case, it would be, I would give Kyle imagination completely, and then potential and willpower would both go over to Simone. So he still went, okay, all right.
Kyle may have embodied life itself, but Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential would shatter even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Next time on Death Battle.
What we got next then? Tom and Jerry versus the Coyote and the Roadrunner, or is it just Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcat? Yo,
subscribe and join as
crazy.
a member to see more Death Battle.
I thought we were gonna get the double hitter. Yo, that was dope. Where's that dope here? Yo, that's gonna be, oh man, Wile E. Coyote versus Tom the Cat is going to be intense. I have absolutely no idea what's gonna go on with that, boy. That's gonna be crazy. But all right, we didn't get this one. Kyle Rayner took the L. I'm not sure if I agree. I'm not 100% sure. You know what I'm saying? I guess it falls in line with the equivalent of the life equation versus what they were saying was the same on the other side. I don't know exactly how. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like Kyle could have had it. You feel me? But it is what it is. This was a good one. I love the fight. I love the ending. The ending of that fight was awesome. So good job on Death Battle with this one. This was a spectacle, man. That's the take. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, follow me on all that there social media. And I catch y'all next one, fam. Peace.